Hi everybody, it's Sandy here, and it's an unusual one for me. I'm actually here not for a new moon or a full moon reading, but here to actually connect with you. Hi P, hi. To connect with you for International Women's Day. And it's been a powerful week for me this week. You know, we've been through this new moon, and the energies have been very powerful, strong, different, and have really created a field of review for me. And so there was no energy for me to do the new moon rose reading for us on Monday, and I couldn't understand why. It was just, I just followed the energy that was calling me to know that the timing wasn't right, and that also honouring the fact that I personally am in a deep process of my own work. So it came to this morning, and there was a real sense that actually it was today that the reading needed to be done, because the rose is such a strong connection for us as women. And this place of International Women's Day, which is a celebration of all different aspects. Hi Katie, hi. All aspects of us as women, in the qualities that we bring and the qualities that are being so called for in the awakening of the divine feminine aspects on the planet, but also in how that constitutes to a wholeness, a completion of a sacred weave of the masculine and feminine energies that need to be in balance, that need to be able to dance together to create the magic of creation. Whether you look at that as procreation and a baby, or the bringing together of a business, or just our creative expression in the world. Obviously, when we do that for ourselves, it requires us to have a balance of masculine, feminine in the body. There is the receptive and creative energies of the feminine within us, but also the way that our own internal masculine is able to support us and take those energies out in the world. So this feels to be a really powerful celebration of the point of the journey that we've been on as women. And many of you know that my journey, and that this journey of the way of the rose, this path of beauty, truth and love in its journey to an authentic empowerment, has not necessarily been easy. And some of you will also know that I spent Monday actually in the hospital having tests on my heart, because my heart has been broken over many times in my life. And this is the deep point of healing, of understanding the storyline and the soul script that has called forward that path of the rose, of healing these wound places that we as women have carried within us. And I'm reminded that when the rose work first came through, that sorry, I can't read. I'm going to have to stop and read. Limeré. Wonderful. Connection with Lady Nada. So I can't see the rest of your post, but I will have a look later. This calling for us to honour our journey and honour the sacred wounds that we've come to heal. The path of the rose was never seen to be an easy pathway. It's so connected into the mystery school teachings. The Sisterhood of the Rose goes way, way back into the Venusian storyline and how those that first came to Earth with Sanat Kumara were connected into the Venusian timelines, and that was part of the ancient storyline of the sisters and the brothers of the Rose that were through the Atlantean temple work, the Egyptian temple work, the Essenes, the Cathars, the Sufis. There has been a weave, a sacred weave of the feminine mysteries that has been held for eons by those that knew the Rose, that knew the Rosa Mystica, that resonated with the truth and the purity and the love embedded into the teachings. So, oh, hi Lynn, hello. So yes, this is a powerful, powerful portal, it feels to me, and this calling to really be present for International Women's Day was a very strong calling this morning. And I am in the process, in a process. Hi Paige, hi, nice to see you. I'm in a powerful process myself of pulling and diving deep and pulling into the work that I've actually come to do in healing my own genetic soul story, and also my own soul wounding, which calls for layers. You know, this calls for diving deep into layers of our own experience. The outer world just mirrors back to us where the work is, where we need to keep the focus. And so it's so easy to distract it, and the calling is deep within in this process. Interestingly, this new moon that we have just been through at 15 degrees of Pisces is the degree to which the Mercury retrograde period that we are in right now is going to retrograde back to. So you can start to see the significance of this time and the significance of March for us as a process of review and to a degree renew. There is almost a sense for me that this is a place of being able to see where we've been, to actually acknowledge and to appreciate the work that we have done, but also to take that journey back down the threads of our experience out in the outer world to see if there's anything else that needs to be released, another reword. You want to look at all the rewords that can come up in this time of this Mercury retrograde. Beautiful, beautiful opportunity to ensure that we move forward as we move into April as clear as we possibly can be of anything that is still corrupting or blocking our pathway forward. Certainly for me, what has triggered this is, hi Carolyn, is the fact that I'm working on the last 3 roses that will complete the upshift of the deck, of the Rose Oracle deck. And now, up to now, we've been working with 45 rose frequencies that were activated in 210. They were part of this cycle of the evolution of the feminine voice and her force in the world through the Venus cycles, that were especially the one that finished in 212. So in that place of the evolution of the Rose Oracle deck, there was an aspect of wound that was called for to come into the collective consciousness for us to understand what it was that was part of the feminine clearing, and why we as women holding this coding, holding this frequency, were called to incarnate at this point. So there are 5 aspects, 5 wounds to love, which the roses, as I began to work with them, started to share with me. And they called themselves the Magdalene wound. They called themselves this because they were the 5 aspects to love that each one of us as women came in with at least one of them that was part of our lineage to clear. When we come into incarnation as a soul code, we embed into the genetic coding of our family of birth. And that brings us into the nexus. Hi, Heather. Hi. That brings us into the nexus that creates the alchemical pot, if you like, of what we're working with as women. We have our soul evolution coding, and we also have the coding that we've brought through the genetic line. Now, if you put yourself back into, oh, thank you, Heather, thank you. Hi, Ashley. If you put yourself back into your mother's womb and put her back into her mother's womb and her back into her mother's womb, like Russian dolls, it can only take us back to the Great Mother. It can only take us back to that one source of divine feminine energy that has got a corrupted code that has come down into the womb of your mother, which was part of your contract. It was part of what you came in to embed into, to transform through this alchemical pot of your beingness, of your heart frequency. So for me, it's like I have a daughter and she has 2 daughters. So babushka, so the Russian doll piece of the layers continues. So when we look at the threads of International Women's Day, we can start to see the coding that is our unique coding that we bring for transformation, we bring for transmutation. And those 5 wounds, as the roses and Lady Nada and the Sisterhood of the Rose explained to me when I first started working with these roses, these 5 wounds transform to the 5 jewels that sit in the crown of one who queens, who moves to queen energy. And that is a path of mastery of the inner landscape. So these 5 wounds are abandonment, betrayal, denial, judgment, and separation. And they transform into the jewels of self-love, self-value, self-esteem, of trust, of truth, of forgiveness and surrender. And in that place of mastery, so the golden heart opens. And from that golden heart arises the 3-fold flame. And it's the 3-fold flame that I have been working with in this last month, which is the completion of the deck. The deck of cards will move from 45 cards to 52 cards. And this last piece that I'm working with is the energy of power. It is the frequency of power, this 3-fold flame that's rooted into the divine feminine energy is love, wisdom and power. I find it fascinating that actually is what's triggering for me those places of where do I not sit with that? And something is actually is triggering that place of having to dive deep. It's like that has to be rooted out now, because we can't clear this stuff from the head. We can only clear it from where we have held it in the body for eons. Many, many lifetimes. It may have got reactivated in our childhood experiences even in this lifetime, and we certainly would have played it out in relationships. I certainly have. And it was rooted in my childhood. I was terrified of my father. My experience with him was not easy. So this relationship with external masculine colours our internal masculine. Feminine power. What is that? What is that? What does that look like? And many of us have moved into oh my gosh, I nearly lost everybody. To be seen in the mirror of our experience. So in the workplace, there was a shift that went on, that actually we moved to power dressing, we moved to, the trouser suits, the broad shoulders, and this whole attitude of I can be equal to you. I can have as much sex as you, I can drink as much as you, and I can get as far as you in the boardroom. And that actually was where we as women lost our path. We weren't working. Hi, Renee. Hi. We weren't working from our authentic feminine power. We were working from the power that was actually an external masculine power. So the movement into the truth of who we are as women, as powerful women, is a totally different frequency. And that requires us to have an internal masculine that actually holds our frequency, so that we can be able to blossom, able to really bloom within our own fields without looking for anybody else to validate us. This is the pathway of the balancing of the threefold flame, the balancing of this heart star. Hi, Lisa. So this is the pathway. Hi, Rosa. This is the pathway we're looking at. It's like how we balance the threefold flame of love, wisdom, and power. This weave of the pink, the blue, and the gold flames that sit in the higher heart chakra, and they are rooted and held by the Divine Mother. This is the most powerful and the most exciting work that I have engaged with since I first brought the Rose work through. And I am feeling extremely blessed that the work with Lady Nada is moving into this next phase. And what I can actually see is going to be able to be shared for us as women in this coming time. This place of inner mastery is what's calling us, and that changes all of our external relationships. This changes the context by which we share ourselves. And relationship is really the essence of the feminine. This is her gift to the world in how she shares herself and how she is able to relate with those around her. Because for the feminine, it's never an I, it's a we. And there always is a consideration in all of how an action has a reaction or an effect on everyone around her. So these are really powerful times in how we see ourselves authentically as women, and what is our authentic voice. And this comes from this awakened heart space, and it is activated and illuminated by this higher heart field. Sorry, I can't see. Oh, Lynn Marie, that's just amazing. All is perfect. It's just extraordinary. So, shall we see what the roses have got to say for us? Hi, Philippa. So, are you drawn to rose card 1? Are you drawn to rose card 2? Or, hi, Hala. Are you drawn to rose card 3? And for sure certain, they have all got a message for us today. They have a message individually, and they have a message in their joint voice, which is a bit super exciting. So, if you were drawn to Rose card 1, here she is, and she is Rose Bagua 4. Now this rose actually is called Golden Celebration, and I photographed her at Kew Gardens in London, and she is in the Rose Bagua, and she sits in the place of abundance, wealth and blessings. And this, the way that I work with the roses is on the diagonal. So this rose is all about having our connection to our tribe, connection to our soul sisters, connection with those that really resonate with us, so that we have this real sense of being in an alignment, in that sense that life is just an absolute blessing in all of its experiences. This rose is a real beauty. You could almost dive into her. But if you were drawn to Rose card 1 today, she is telling you, A, to count your blessings, perhaps to stop and smell the roses, but also that she reminds you of the effortless abundance that is available when we are held by our sisters, and also when we open to the magnetics of the feminine, when we allow our heart and our true essence to be the attractor factor that allows us to just weave the energies effortlessly and easily. She just says, you know, I am abundant. It is my birthright, it is my presence, it is how I show up in the world and how the world shows up for me. She's a beauty. So she's Rose Bagua 4. If you were drawn to Rose card 2, she is Rose 2. Now Rose 2 came from the Alhambra. I don't know where to look, over, above her, or I go under her. Rose 2 was one of the original roses from the Alhambra in Granada in 210. And she sits on the third eye. She is, I believe she's a rose called sterling silver, although the debate is whether she might be a rose called blue moon. But you can see that she is absolutely perfect on the inside, and it's like she's letting go of all of the debris around the outside, all that is outworn, all that has had its time, all that has served us in allowing us to come into this center place and unfold. She's a powerful ally when we're looking for clarity. So if you're drawn to her today, if you were drawn to Rose card 2 today, she is saying it's time for clarity. And it's a combination of head and heart. But this rose, when this violet aura, when this violet flame energy drops down to the heart, she turns to gold. And in turn, the gold rises to allow for the further illumination of what is being considered. So it's like this combination of insight, clarity, and heartfelt presence. So is there anything in your world at this point which is asking for clarification, is asking you to make a choice or a decision that can take you forward? If you've got something that you're undecided about, write it out. And if you've got the Rose Oracle deck, put this rose on top of the writing. Or you could put this rose under your pillow and ask her to help you with clarity or with seeing clearly through a particular question that you have in any aspect of your life. She's such a fabulous rose to work with. And of course, another way that you could work with her, or with any of the roses, is to put a glass of water on top of the roses and create rose water, rose charged water. Just leave it for sort of 5 minutes and allow yourself to drink and absorb the energy. One of the ways that's always super fascinating to do this, if you've got any skills in dowsing or being able to scan, is to be able to scan your glass of water first, put the roses underneath, and then take the glass off and scan the glass again, and be able to feel the expansion on the auric field of the water. And we know that the roses resonate to golden mean, which is the growth proportion of our bodies. And so when the water's charged with the rose frequencies, our bodies absorb it at a cellular level. It's able to work with us at a much deeper level. And if you were drawn to rose card 3, she is rose 9. Now, rose 9 is a super, super powerful rose. She sits on the solar plexus. She is, she's like the Sekhmet of roses, I describe her as, because she just says, don't mess with me. I have clear boundaries. I know who I am. I am connected to the solar energy. And I'm super powerful. I'm super strong. I don't need to push down doors to get anywhere. I just am. And beautiful, beautiful rose to work with if you're looking for an inner resource and an inner strength. You know, again, this is another rose. It's very interesting. Both rose 2 and rose 9 are what I would call non-fluffy roses. They're very clear, very defined, and very, very present. So, yeah, this rose is, if you called her today, she's asking you to look and see if there's any refinement that you need around boundaries, or a refinement in your sense of personal power. So she's quite a beauty to work with. And interestingly, I sent off a beautiful cushion with Rose 9 just this morning to a client, because we've got new rose. Actually, all 3 of these, I think, all 3 of these are in the new rose mats that have been delivered. No, those 2 are in rose mats that have been delivered. So, yeah, we've got some new products and new stuff in the shop. Anyway, these are our 3 roses for this International Women's Day. Abundance, a real sense of belonging, of connection, of alignment, that brings us this effortless sense of wealth and blessings in life. And yeah, she's just like effortless, an outpouring of wealth and blessings, absolute clarity. And I think the other fascinating thing is, as I say, this violet, whenever you work with the violet flame, when it touches the heart, it turns to gold. So these are 3 very golden energies. And also, I haven't got a box here, but this is the colours that Lady Nada guided me to for the packaging for the Rose Oracle. That these were the colours that we were to put the rose codes out on, which is very interesting. So here we are. Abundance, clarity, and absolute inner solar strength. So beautiful roses to work with. What other news? I'm super excited in the fact that I've heard today from the lovely Paul, who's doing an upshift on my website, that we have a rose portal opening soon. Oh, lovely. Colours of royalty, gold and purple, of course. We've got a rose portal opening soon on the website, which will include the new Rose Circle, which will be an online membership portal. And that will be open for registration on the spring equinox in about the 20th of March. And the first meeting, the first online webinar for that will be on the new moon of the 5th of April. So I will be letting everybody know when it's open for registration. But I'm really excited about the fact that we will be able to gather together in circle around the world, as opposed to around my sitting room, around the Rose Temple here. And we will be offering a monthly webinar, a weekly Rose Focus, interviews with other members of the circle, the opportunity to share your offerings within the circle on certain days, and special offers and other newsy bits around the world about what's happening with women's circles. And and I've got something else that I'm cooking for the autumn equinox, plus new classes and things. So lots of good things happening. And also to say that I'm in Guernsey teaching Rose classes for the weekend in 2 weeks' time, and we've still got a couple of places available. So if anybody fancies a gorgeous weekend, a rosy weekend on Guernsey, do contact me or Chris Shepherd, who is based in Guernsey. And yes, interesting times, huh? So just to finish, let's use the magical alchemy bowl. Again, interestingly, the violet. So this is a violet aura gold alchemy bowl. And let's just weave the energies to finish our session. Gosh, I've never known the bowl go so long in its sound. There must be some very beautiful energies gathered in circle through this today. So thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much for being here in celebration of International Women's Day. And just much love and rosy blessings to you. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.